they won't be holding back any punches here. They're going to be going full pelt. They're going to be going absolutely ham at their opponent, and I think Global Esports need to be ready for that. As we have a quick look at the compositions over on Global Esports, they are rolling with, yep, the standard GOATS composition, and it looks like we're going to see the exact same for the first time tonight on Nova. This is what we were expecting, Brunch.
With a little bit of a caveat in that they are running the Winston, but no, okay, he's gonna go back. He sees what they're up against, so that's a better, definitely a better pick in this scenario. We've seen how Winston in for GOATS can really work, but more on those control type maps. And right now on Rialto, it's definitely gonna help out a bunch having that Reinhardt up in that front line. And we've seen the emphasis on the Zarya's time and time again as these teams will clash.
Yeah, D.Va up on the top, just raining down up on high with those micro missiles, but they are considerably weak, especially when you're going into a full GOATS composition now. One on the Zarya, just shredding them up here. In fact, Zenyatta gets the kill, removing the enemy Reinhardt, and that is a big chunk in the wall taken out of the GOATS composition here for Global Esports here on blue, as the pressure is just continued to be piled on here by Nova Monster Shield.
Swing and a miss, that's the problem when you have to play risky as a Reinhardt. Going in with the charge instantly gets punished, but now another contest right before that first point. The self-destruct's gonna be launched on top, still finds the D.Va somehow as she launched her respective map, but so far it's a 1-for-1 trade.
Yeah, they go in. The Reinhardt actually cleans up the Zarya, so there's still a lot of force going on here now. The rally rather will be popped. In fact, the Shadow comes across in a very clutch position, and cross comes the Graviton Surge now, and the sound barrier will be popped from Lucio, just providing some survivability, but unfortunately the mighty do fall, and Global Esports just trickling away here piece by piece. Nova Monster Shield will cap the first point on Rialto.
At the very least, though, props for them to manage to quite recover nicely from that very bad spot. That's not a place you want to be there, though, my friend. Going in way too deep as a Reinhardt player, as most of the team respawn there for Global Esports. This is going to be a bit costly on the time bank here for the attacking side, but shouldn't look too bad as they still have 4 minutes, 30 seconds to go. More importantly, though, they do have that Graviton at the ready. Just to see if they're gonna press their advantage right now. As Satchuk's off to the side, solo grab, looking for that kill, but timely barrier comes through.
Yeah, you can see the Lucio was hiding onto that one. Now the counter grab comes out, and it's just all blue on the kill feed, and poor Nova Monster Shield, they just get absolutely squashed under the combined might there. You hear it, ladies and gentlemen. Team kill, and Global Esports, they really needed that fight. They struggled. They lost one early. They lost their Reinhardt in the early stages of the first fight there, Brunj. That time, it was a totally different story, and they were positioned much, much better. Still, this cut is in the choke.
Oh, let's see if this setup is going to be good as the self-destruct launched on both sides so far. It's going to be looking better for Global Esports. One pick onto blue. Transcend is going to keep the rest of the team safe, even though he caught two. The boop from Azure is going to launch the Reinhardt away. Counter boop. So many boops. Skip Fox. What is this?
Oh, this is the GOATS meta, ladies and gentlemen. If you like it, you love to see it. And Xeon Flux and the rest of Global Esports, they continue to light up the kill feed once again. And Nova Monster Shield, they just cannot find their footing here. They had a very solid first push into the first capture point. 2 fights went their way rather considerably. But now, Brunj, it's all Monster Shield. Have a look at the positioning of the Reinhardt here. He's going to go for a fat charge. It's Shock. Oh, there's the Shadow. It comes across. See you later, one. See you later, Zenyatta. And oh my god, it's just a fiesta here on Rialto. As Nova Monster Shield, they're just getting smacked around by all the tricks that Global Esports are throwing at them.
Back to the spawn you go, and this has been such an absolute masterclass coming out of Global Esports after that terrible start on that first point, which is not too uncommon considering the amount of routes you have available for yourself as the attacking side, but very nicely done to play around Satchuk so far. The projective barrier timings coming out of Lil Rex have been beautiful as well.
You just saw it there on Xenofly, just providing Zarya with a lot of energy. There's the Graviton Surge, comes across, counter grabs, the Transcendence will come across into the big bomb. Alaska doesn't actually get anybody in the end, as the Graviton Surge Judge was just not enough, but there's a big shadow coming across there from the Reinhardt on the side of Nova Esports, Nova MS rather, and here we go, finally 2 kills go their way, make it 3 in the end. Well done, here we go, finally a bit of breathing room and room to spread the wings for Nova Monster Shield with just over 2 minutes to go on the clock, Brunj. The ults, everything was invested there from both sides, so we're basically back to square one here, but the room and the time is what Nova Monster Shield need at the moment.
That is basically back off the D.Va player, if you ask me, because they managed to eat that grab up, and off of that, they swung their advantage back in their favor. So now clashing back onto that payload. Sadchuk again dropping solo, but
here we go.
That timing coming clutch. Self-destruct launched up into the air is not going to be as successful this time, as both of these teams are still going at it, trying to build up any of those ultimate charge for an advantage. But it's going to be Global Esports again.
Yeah, they're just cleaning him up. They do get the counter retaliation there onto Lilrax on the Zarya, but unfortunately 1 kill is not going to be enough, especially 1 to 5 trade. You don't need to be a rocket scientist to work out those quick maths, Brunge. It goes in the way of Global Esports, and now it's just back in their favor. Just over a minute left on the clock. Nova Monster Shield are running out of time, but the ults are just slightly in their favor. They do have the Shatter. They've got themselves the Rally as well as the Graviton Surge. There's some good synergy going on there. Yes, Brunge.
Not like this. Look at Sadchuk. How? Why? Why was it
man.
unspotted? From the back, the Zenyatta is getting bullied, but finally, with the assistance of his team, the peel was there. Will manage to stay alive as a result. That looked so terrifying, but now with the Rapton's gonna catch all the members of the attacking side. Self-destruct nowhere inside.
Oh, the bomb!
Launched. Oh, no MS.
Here we go. Every player on the side of Global Esports is back on the bench, staring down the barrel of a big fat spawn timer at the moment. That was a clean kill, clean wipe rather there from Nova Monster Shield. There is enough time rather with that Lucio speed boost coming across, as well as the rally for Global Esports to get back though. They've got one last dig at this, 15 seconds on the clock. The bomb finds the wall. Oh, it does it! It doesn't find anybody in the end because they managed to get behind the Reinhardt shield and around the relative pillars. Then the D-Mech now comes across Xenofly, forced into baby form. That's a slight advantage going in the way of Nova Monster Shield. Bubble Kitty goes down. There's no supports on the side of Global Esports now, and blue on the Brigitte. That is the spearhead of the GOAT's meta right there, ladies and gentlemen. Brigitte core, Brigitte solid, and now Nova Monster Shield get themselves much needed time. 1.5 minutes to go.
Triple kill on that Brig, but more importantly, I don't know how Nova MS managed to win that fight, considering they lost their Reinhardt at the very start, the only member that had an ultimate available, Earth Shatter. At that moment, I thought, okay, this is where a beautiful call came through from Global Esports, and they're gonna finally make it happen. But no, somehow Nova MS still in it. They do have the Earth Shatter still available. Not really gonna go through on the other side, as Sadchuk will have his respective one available. One pick onto blue. They could move forward.
He manages to get 2 in the back line, and Sadchuk did what the opposing Reinhardt could not, and that is get the shatter behind the Reinhardt shield, because Sadchuk, all he had to do was right-click, and he saved all of his team from being stunned out there. And now look at the zone that they've put down here onto Global Esports. 33 seconds left on the clock, but hang on a minute, the ults, whoever's going to come out with this ult fight, Brunch, is going to win this game.
And then we're going to be looking at the Zaryas again. They've been the targets here, as we'll see one drop extremely low. Their opponents know what's up. We'll see no charge available. And finally, the Graviton's going to be beautifully placed. A self-destruct launched up into the air. Retaliation too, but Transcendence alongside everything else. Going to keep Global Esports alive for now.
Sadchuk tries to charge, is unable to get there, but manages to find the Shatter onto a support. The counter Shatter comes across from the Reinhardt from Nova Monster Shield, and hang on, 2 kills go the way of Nova. This could be it, Brunj. The floodgates just slowly opening here, and all of a sudden Global Esports are forced back into their spawn, but they didn't stagger. That is the important part here. They're going to manage to regroup, and in overtime there's going to be one last roll of the dice.
And luckily for them, at the very least, their silver lining is the fact that Azure is up and ready to go with that barrier. So is it going to be enough? That is the question right before the end here. 82.90 meters on that card, on that payload. Bubble Kitty going in super aggressive. Now finally committing with that sound barrier. We'll see who's going to be jumping first. The Graviton is going to come through, but the kills are on the side of Global Esports. Nobody inside. The Graviton catching all the members. So close, yet so far.
Clutch Zarya coming across there in the dying stages with the Graviton Surge, chunked it onto the wall, and like you said, Bruins, the vacuum just sucked everybody up, but that is almost a full cap, so Nova Monster Shield did not do too bad there. It's basically going to need a full push here from the side of Global Esports to take this one out, and I want to draw your attention just to the way that Sadchuk, the Reinhardt of Global Esports, was positioning himself there. He knew that when he didn't have the shadow, or even when he did not care. He was going in. We saw that on the second point where basically there was almost no room for Nova Monster Shield to come out, and that was probably my play of that round there. you know, 2-3 minutes of domination by Global Esports really did show us what they can do. I mean, it's goats on goats at the end of the day. It's meta on meta, and at the end of the day, Brunch, it is contenders versus contenders. So you kind of expect to see this. And like we were talking about, both teams not pulling any punches at all. I am loving it.
And it's been absolutely insane to see what Satchel can just get away with when it comes to those Earth Shatters and his positionings. He's been sneaky quite a bit, so I would expect Nova MS to be a bit more wary of him right now, and hopefully no more shenanigans will be afoot, but it's been very interesting to see what Global Esports can do. And again, even though we've been hyping up Nova MS, we can't forget that Global Esports, at the end of the day, as incipients, they've had a pretty damn good record in past contenders trials and in the recent history too, so they're nothing to scoff at all, as seen right now.
That's it. I mean, the names like Bubble Kitty and Aeon Flux, if you know Overwatch, you basically know those names, and you can see them here just representing for Global Esports. And this roster was only announced 2 days ago, so they really want to prove to the world and to the Pacific scene that they are a force to be reckoned with in the contenders. But it's all about the Asia Community Cup right now, ladies and gents, as this push coming through from Global is rather quite solid, but they do lose Bubble Kitty nice and early. And you can see already that Nova MS are going to try and push that advantage, but they do lose Reinhardt, they lose Blue as well. It's a 2-for-2 trade. This fight is still anybody's favor. It's still in anybody's favor. One gets the DMAC onto Xenofire before going down himself, and all of a sudden a little bit of breathing room comes across for Global Esports as Lilrax is just juiced up on this Zarya and just carves through the opposition like a Sunday roast, and that will be much needed time and in fact an ult or two up for Global Esports.
Wow, Sachok, I mean, he's the man of the hour right now for me, with Global Esports managing to recuperate off of that first initial loss with a beautiful charge. And not only that, Lilrax now has been allowed to charge up himself with the Graviton. Is going to catch most of the members off guard. Blue's going to go down already, and so will the rest of the team.
So much damage, Brunj. That was just disgusting to watch, and the kill feed just lights up Blue, and all of a sudden Nova Monster Shield, they are just trapped. They have got nowhere to go, and all of a sudden they just look rattled, Brunj. They're not the team that we saw in that first round. Granted, they weren't perfect in the first round, but this time they're just looking a little bit shaky. They just need to set to win this next fight. It's more of a momentum thing than anything.
And I think they really weren't prepared for Lilrax to have that Graviton available from their positioning from what I've seen, and now looking to retaliate finally onto that Reinhardt. Sachok, though, still able to stay alive, still pushing forward. And with the ultimates building up on both sides, 4 versus 3 right now, respectively. Self-destruct launched on top. It's not going to find any targets, but Transcendence will be prompted.
Lilrax on the Zarya is still extremely charged up, but Satchok will lose his life, and all of a sudden the speed boost goes and the retreat is called. Lilrax is going to suicide here. Or is he? He's trying to go across the gondolas. He makes it in the end there. Have a look at that. That's how you play Frogger, ladies and gentlemen. And he's still going to be holding onto that Graviton Surge before the next fight. And in fact, all this is going to do is just allow both sides to charge up their ult here. But there's time in the bank for Global Esports, something that Nova Monster Shield didn't have. Just over 4 minutes, in fact now exactly 4 minutes to play. There's the Graviton Surge going in. Oh no! One gets booped off the edge by the Zarya, and all of a sudden this fight's still in anybody's favor, but hold the phone. Xenofly gets the kill, and this one is going to go in favor of Global. Once again, Bruins, they are looking very, very fine here.
Oh, Xenofly eating up that Graviton is really what allowed him to win this one out, where it looked very dire considering Lilrax didn't win out on that Frogger level that time around. So Bubble Killy will be the one pushing up ahead, looking for any late staggered kills, especially onto that Reinhardt dropping solo, but with the rest of the team roofing back up, it's not really going to happen for now. But 3 minutes and 20 seconds now left, Cat Fox. This is looking very good for Global Esports.
Yeah, Azul will just go back to collect Aeon Flux. You are going to need all of your supports coming into this. The Deeper Bomb gets thrown out. Not really going to find anybody in the end, Brunj. But the first kill is going to go over to Xeon Flux. The Shatter comes through, though, from the side of Nova Monster Shield. Jervis will go down. The sound barrier about to be used here by Azure, still holding onto it. In fact, he's not going to need it, because the rest of his team is just cleaning up here. Global Esports are on fire!
Global Esports winning out big time when it comes to those ultimate trades. Launching that self-destruct prompted that Transcendence very early out of the side of Nova MS, and on the other side, Global Esports, they only had to have Xeonflux commit his respective Transcendence to save up the rest of his team off of that Earth Shatter instead. So Very well done here by Global Esports right now, proving to be the superior team.
Satchok now just going, playing that mental game of Reinhardt chess with his opposition number. Now the sound barrier will come across from Azure. The Graviton Surge from Zarya. In fact, counter grab. In fact, in all the ults, you know what, Bruns? You have an ult, I have an ult. Everybody gets an ult. Xeon Flux will get the successful DMEC off, and Bubble Kitty and Satchok will clean up the rest of the backline here of Nova Monster Shield. Azure with the melee kill for good measure. With 3 minutes 30 seconds left, I don't think they have got the speed in the tank to get back on the point. Nova Monster Shield, they are no, Brigitte actually gets there with mere millimeters left on the point. It's so close here, Bruins. In comes Hammond, in comes Diva. The dive champions are go. This is the last roll of the dice. Both Transcendences committed at exactly the same time. Great Omnics think alike, but Blue on this Brigitte is having an absolute field day, getting all the heals, all the kills. Bubble Kitty gets in on the action as well. The sound barrier will come across, saving the team from the Diva bomb. Here come Nova Monster Shield, though. It looks as though for now they're going to push away Global Esports. The shadow comes across, but again the Graviton Surge is the MVP, and Global Esports will successfully take Rialto. First map of this best of 3.
Very nice Graviton. Very poetic end to that first match as well, considering the attacking round. But Lil Rax, he's been so good again with these projective barriers, making sure he stays charged up, and I really would have wanted to had the stats for the amount of Gravitons and just overall charge for this guy, because he's been absolutely nuts.
Well, 44 high energy kills with 46 eliminations, Bruins, just might paint that picture for you in your mind's eye, just how much he was popping off there. Xeon Flux with 15.5k Transcendence healing as well, so that just goes to show you just how good Global Esports are. And if this is just the entree for Pacific contenders, Bruins, I cannot wait to see what the main course dishes up. But for now, ladies and gents, that's map number 1. We're going to be taking a very short break, and just on the other side, myself and my co-caster will be joining you once again for Lijiang Tower here for Global Esports versus Nova MS. You are watching the Plays.gg Asia Community Cup. Good evening, good morning, good whatever, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Plays.gg Asia Community Cup. My name is Kit Fox. It is an absolute pleasure to be one of your casters for today's proceedings. We have got Global Esports versus Nova MS. It'll be match number 2 on on King's Row, I believe. I've actually got Lijiang Tower here, so we might actually have to switch that map over and then get into it. But Brunj, my man, you're back once again. What did you think of that first map? I mean, Global Esports did a number on Nova MS when they were on attack.
And I think it's really up to their main tank lineup. That is to credit, because Lil Rax, as said on that Zarya, I can't really praise him enough for those projected barrier timings. It seems like they've really got that down to a T. It's been a heavy focus when it comes to these GOAT compositions in terms of recent play. When you look at Overwatch League, or especially in the European scene, one of the best things that the European players do is making sure that they time said barrier at the best times for their Reinhardt players. That means that their healers get to charge up and their Reinhardts stay safe. And of course, on top of all that, the cherry on top is that Zarya gets charged as well. And as we've seen, Lil Rax had, 44? Was it high charge kills?
Yeah, 44 out of 46 of his eliminations were high energy kills.
That's just, I mean, again,
it's
been insane. And as well, Sachok, sneaky Reinhardt coming in through. You kind of have to be manly, and, you know, it's always swing and a miss when it comes to Reinhardt. Be it you go in, you charge, you get that heroic play, you turn the team fight around, which they did on their attacking side. They lost one member, if you remember, on their first point attack. But somehow, through Sachok charging in, that opened up the avenue for Lil Rex again to come in, charge up, and make sure he has that graviton before that first point to secure it as well.
That's it. I mean, the GOATS meta is played across all of the regions. I mean, we see it quite a lot down here in the OCE region as well, which is shaping up to be quite spicy, if I do say so myself. Can't wait to see what all the teams in the region can do on that, and I believe it's kicking off all around the world as well. I mean, just today, Brunj, there was the Overwatch League, and my poor Valiant, they're sitting dead last. Come on, guys. You gotta lift. Custer, do Australia proud. Just get up there, represent, and get off the bottom of the ladder. But it's all about the Asia Community Cup right now, ladies and gentlemen. This is map number 2 in a best-of-3 series between Global Esports and Nova Monster Shield. We're gonna go over to Lijiang Tower after Rialto was taken rather comfortably by Global, and it is all up to Nova Monster Shield. The ball is in their court, Bruges. They need to serve this one back and retaliate here. Maybe, just maybe, on a map like Lijiang Tower, you know, your control map, we might see something like the Tracer, a lot of those dash heroes that come out quite often, and maybe just shake things up a little bit.
Probably not in this first round, considering we are going to be in a more close quarter situation. I do expect to see a lot more of that triple tank, triple support lineup in some form or fashion, be it the classic GOATs or another variant. But that being said, I do really hope to see Nova bring out potentially even the double sniper comp if we move on to another round like Night Market, for instance, that could come into play. One on his Ashe play in Nepal versus the likes of Venaris in that last matchup was an absolute sight to behold. So considering its control, this is where they can have those individual plays come through and shine for them.
Yeah, the pinpoint precision placement on the Bob, like I just talked about in the like we're talking about that Sanctum, when they were running, as you said, with that triple or double sniper combo, it was just absolutely a delight to see in that first match against Venaris. But alas, they are going up against a team who you might consider just a little bit more on par with Nova Monster Shield. That is Global Esports as they get the engage on. It looks like we're going to be seeing a GOATS with a little bit of a variant here. One has actually pulled out the May, so keep your eye on that one as the freeze comes across. Jervis trying his best to keep everybody alive, just up in the tempo a little bit. I'm going to be following one. He gets the wall across, just blocks the rest of Global Esports out, but the kill feed is going in favor of the blue side. Global Esports 1, 2, 3, and maybe potentially the 4th here. Regardless, they're going to push them off the point and flip it in their favor, and the clock gets ticking.
And I gotta give credit to Nova MS. I like this adaptation coming out of him. The Mei here on this point, considering the fact that, again, I praised the tank lineup. Separating said tank lineup out of Global Esports might be the key to victory. So far hasn't really been the case. However, look at Juan. He's almost ready to go with the Blizzard. So if he can time that one up nicely, it would be good. But the charge already from Sachok is gonna deny any potential avenues opening up for them. Even though they found 2 kills, it's not really gonna amount to anything.
Yeah, he did get that Blizzard, and it was available in probably the mid to late stages of that fight, Brunch, but there was absolutely no synergy to go with it. There is nothing to follow up. Blue just only now has got the rally. Reinhardt is still, 10% away from his shatter. Maybe potentially if they got the juice that they needed, there could have been a little bit more potential, but unfortunately not now. The grabs will fly. There's the Blizzard that we saw out. The Diva Bomb will come in. The freeze comes across. Doesn't collect anybody. That's the bomb I'm talking about, because Transcendence is just very, very good. The shatter just lands flat, smack bang into Sachok's shield. The sound barrier coming across from Azure on the side of Global Esports, keeping everybody alive. Brunj, after all of that, there's only been 1 kill. Make that 2, and they're in quick succession. Sachok and Bubble Kitty being taken out of the fight, and all of a sudden Nova Monster Shield at 69%, 70%, they're going to flip the point back in their favor. They win their first fight.
And the Mei pick there finally paying off in the end, and this is going to be good for them because they still have an ultimate advantage, so they need to press that advantage. There it is, the separation coming through, and we'll see Sachok fall, Bubble Kitty to follow, but they still hold on to the Graviton and Sound Barrier more importantly, and that's what I like to see out of them, because if they are to get back into this first round and have a shot at winning it, they really need to take this one all the way almost, because if you see on the other side, Global Esports, they're just going to be content with building up an advantage when it comes to those ultimates and force Nova MS to use some of their own, because they get the flip back in an ideal scenario and they're probably going to be able to hold on to it. So at this point, it's all about patience and good staggered ults that I want to see out of Nova MS.
So there was a little bit of a fakie going on there, just feigning to go around the left-hand side, but the wall coming across and separating the tanks exactly like you talked about. Brunch, Sachok goes down, and without a Reinhardt, like we talked about, that is a huge, huge chink in the armor. And unfortunately, without that protection, the rest of the team is just going to fall over like 10 pins, and all the ults are up here for Nova Monster Shield. This is not looking good if you are a Global Esports fan.
And they're also caught up when it comes to that percentage on that point. Now, rapidly approaching 70%, Sachok is gonna go down instantly. Earth Shatter in return is gonna drop 2 members down, but the boop, gonna send Xenofly out of the map. Graviton now finally committed from the blue hand side. Lorax going for it, but the rest of the team here for Nova MS are gonna be able to back off from this fight, and they're still with 5 ultimates available, 87 or 89 now % as well.
Yeah, Nova Monster Shield only committing the shatter in that last fight, and it's really all they needed, because the Mei wall has succeeded 3 times in a row separating Sachok. Now the Graviton Surge will put them in a massive choke point. Transcendence comes across. Zarya just cleaning up here on the side of Nova Monster Shield, and the positioning is so good, but hold the phone! The sneaky back cap has come across, and I believe it was Xenofly who just pulled the pants down on Nova Monster Shield there. Blue now will come back, and I think Xenofly is in a very bad position here, forced to blow the ult. Point going to be flipped back across. Overtime is in play here, and because it's early overtime, Xenofly again is going to trigger it. That will allow the rest of Global Esports to come back here, Bruce. They're not done yet.
Oh, but this is still going to be a very tough hill to climb, because they still are up against 2 support ultimates from the side of Nova MS, and the kills are still going in their favor. The Graviton to seal the deal, and Nova MS, after a pretty bad start, with that Mei, come out on top on this first round of Lijiang.
Whoever said Mei was not valuable, I say just cast your eyes to that round that we saw. I mean, 3 times in a row, Sachok was separated from his team coming through that choke point. And look, Brunch, you could argue that Control Tower on Lijiang is probably the most choke point centric of all the control maps. I mean, all of the control maps, you have to funnel through choke points to get there. But on Control Tower especially, because, 95% of the map is indoors, you've only got 1 or 2 ways to go through, and they're so tiny that once you are behind, it doesn't matter how good you are, if your opponent is better, they're always going to be able to keep you out, and that is exactly what we saw Nova Monster Shield be able to do there, and they're doing they've started themselves on a good quest, Brunch, to get themselves into that 3rd map, leveling up the series.
And there's some interesting changes coming out of Nova MS this time around as well. We will have blue on the Sombra, Juan on the Pharah. So I definitely love this coming out of him. This is going to allow him to really make it difficult here potentially for Global Esports. Unless Global Esports can get a hold of this point and force the rest of Nova MS to fight them where they're at their strongest. But Zion, already with that first blood.
Yeah, you can see the side of Nova Monster Shield just getting all Salt Bay and sprinkling a little bit of spice onto their composition here. Look at the Sombra, the Pharah, the Mercy, Hammond, and a Diva. I mean, we haven't seen something like that for quite a while. Having a look at Satchok here, he's at 8 HP, tries to charge away, is unsuccessful. In comes Nova Monster Shield on the Diva and all of the support champions. Now the heroes rather, Sombra here. Nova Monster Shield Sombra is just having an absolute field day, and the kill feed is lit up red. There's not a whole heap that Global Esports can do, and I think the GOAT's meta just might have been cracked, even so slightly, Brunch.
And this is something that we can't expect. We've seen it even in the Overwatch League right now, but more interesting, I do have a couple of questions when it comes to Global Esports answer right now. Seems like Lil Rex is gonna opt in for the Sombra himself. Bubble Kitty is gonna be on the Tracer instead, but with the Rocket Barrage at the ready, it's gonna take out one target, make that a second, especially with that nano boost on top.
Yeah, it's just, it's dirty to watch, isn't it? Sombra forced to translocate away. Ooh, Satchok actually finds himself swimming with the fishes. The point still comfortably in favor of Nova Monster Shield for now. Brunch proximity mines are available, which should be dropped rather soon on Nova's side. And in fact, having a look at the ult economy here, they've got 4 out of their 6 ults. Not a lot going the way of Global at the moment.
And this is looking very tough for them. They have had to bring out the answers in response to what Nova MS brought to the table, and so far they're just on the back burner. But with EMP coming through, the mines are set up. Soundbear is going to be the answer from the side of Global Esports as they look to engage. So far it is going to be a 1-for-1 trade. Make that 2-for-1 as Bubble Kitty will go down as well. Zion soon to follow, and at this point it's just Global Esports looking to push out as many ults out of the side of Nova MS at the very least.
Yeah, but I mean, one is still holding onto a barrage, and Anna has just got the nano boost up, and Diva now has the bomb. They've basically just traded up the ults here. And look, if you are Global Esports at the moment, you'd be thinking that you're on top. You don't want to let that overconfidence get you. They throw the Diva bomb in early and doesn't collect anybody, which is rather unfortunate. In comes Hammond and just absolutely lights them up, sends them into orbit. Now one will throw out the barrage, collects Azure, so one support down on the side of Global Esports. The point's still 90% in favor. Oh, Hammond! Hammond slammed into the koi pond. And that is unfortunate, and maybe, Brunch, that is, in fact, it is going to allow Global Esports a little bit of room onto the point. He decided to grapple and then went for the slam, but went over the wall, and you know, those mechs are quite heavy, dude.
Oh man, how are you going to do Diana player here like that for Nova MS? Because I don't know if you caught that, but Lil Rax went in for the EMP. EMP got denied by the Sleep Dart coming out of Nova MS. That was such a good play coming out of him, and then, you know, for it only to go that way was unfortunate. Still, we'll see them at 98% on that point. Things are still looking on the up and up for them. It's an uphill battle, as said, right now for Global Esports, and the rest of Nova are looking to contest the point. The EMP is at the ready for blue.
Yeah, Bubble Kitty switching over to the Tracer as well. Did actually throw out the Pulse Bomb, but did not collect anybody on the preemptive attack. There it is, Blue throwing out the EMP. Just opens the doors a little bit here for Nova Monster Shield. They trade up the kills. Satchok goes down. Meanwhile, Anna is removed on the side of Nova. Oh, big EMP comes across there from Milrax. Collects everybody on the side of Nova Monster Shield. They're holding nothing but their left clicks at the moment. Xenofly gets demeched. Blue goes down, so Sombra has done her duty. Rally now will come across from the side of Nova Monster Shield. One committing that one. Coalescence from Xenoflux, the Moira on Global. It's still tit for tat, Bruce. This is a seesaw fight. Ult's going in, trickling. The nano boost comes across, but then Winston Bubble under the Diva mech will just neutralize any threat that self-destruct will have. Translocate comes across. No EMPs up for either side at the moment. Now Primal Rage being committed here from Winston, and he collects Xenofly. 3 quick kills on the side of Nova Monster Shield. Pulse Bomb comes in, but Bubble Kitty goes down to the micro missiles of Nova Monster Shield. 84%. This point is in overtime in favor at the moment of Nova. 99%. They are just trickling in here like a leaky tap, Bruins. They've got no other choice. Lucio Wall riding around the point, gets finally taken down by Diva. Xenofly now trying to do his best like he did last round on Control Tower, and that is just delay this overtime for as long as possible. EMP now comes across, it's from Little Rax, and Nova Monster Shield are just going to struggle as they lose 1, 2, 3 on the side of Global Esports, and Nova Monster Shield will take Lijiang Tower. They answer it back and keep their hopes alive, Brunj. That's map number 2 going their way. We are going into a map number 3.
Oh man, we have a series on our hands indeed. Beautiful strategies, really. That's what I gotta commend them here. For Nova MS on Lijiang, be it the Mei on this first round, really making sure they section off the rest of the opposing side, especially their tank lineup, because those are the main members that we've hyped up here for Global Esports. So great stuff coming out of Nova.
That's it. Just having a quick look at the stats there. 21 juicy sound barriers provided off 4 casts there from Azure. Lots of heals coming out there from Xenoflux on the Moira as well. And I mean, I love to see it, Brunj. We saw the Tracer come out in the later stages, and I really liked what Nova were able to do there in terms of their composition, especially going into the Garden phase of that game. We saw the Pharah come out. We saw a complete swap of their lineup. It's like in hockey when you take one team off, the second team comes straight back on. That's exactly what we saw there from Nova Monster Shield, and it was enough to break through the GOATs, the greatest of all time meta, and I cannot wait to see what map number 3 brings. But ladies and gents, we're going to take another quick little break, and on the other side, get hyped, because it's game number 3 of Global Esports versus Nova Monster Shield. You're watching the Plays.gg Asia Community Cup Group A. We'll see you very soon. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Plays.gg Asia Community Cup. It is the first night, and we are going to be getting into Group A. We're going to be swimming ever so comfortably through. We're into match number 3 of game number 2 here of Global Esports versus Nova MS. We're getting to just before the halfway point of the broadcast here. And, I mean, these guys are tit for tat. We really cannot split them at the moment. Global Esports taking out Rialto, map number 1, and then Nova Monster Shield just answered it back there on the control map of Lijiang Tower. If you missed out, go back and check out the VODs later. My name is Kit Fox. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm joined once again by Brunj. And Brunj, as we go into Hollywood, what are you expecting to see here? I mean, we saw Nova Monster Shield change up their composition just superbly on Lijiang Tower.
I expect this one to be very close because if you look at, as said, the previous maps, when it came down to it on Escort, it was all about Global Esports, and then when you went to Control, it's been Nova MS on the dominating side. So going into Hybrid right now, onto Hollywood, I want to see both of those strengths shine through for both of these teams and make this one a very close map.
Not gonna lie, I'm expecting to see goats from both of these teams to start things off, even though we did
Surprise!
we did see a little bit of innovation, as we touched on briefly, from Nova Monster Shield on Lijiang Tower, but hey, it's Control. You can sort of spread your wings and get away with that sort of, those sort of shenanigans, Brunj. And as we go into the hybrid map, like you said, I think it's going to be pretty stock standard. Whoever builds their ult economy up the fastest and basically can protect their front line. The problem that we're seeing sometimes from Global is that Satchok just gets a little bit too confident, and all of a sudden he gets taken down. And you know, all you have to do is remove one piece from the chessboard, that is goats, and all of a sudden it just goes crumbling down.
Well, to be fair, even though, yes, as you said, we're probably going to see a bunch of goats.
I'm liking this lobby, though.
On the second point of the map, if we get past that first objective for the attacking side, especially when it comes to Nova MS, I really want to see more of that double sniper comp they showed on maps like Kings Row, because having blue in one, even potentially on the Ash, has been so good for this team, and that is one part of the map where you can definitely expect. So we'll see whether or not that be the case. Even a Sombra wouldn't be too surprising, and Pharah as well. That was another hero that I was about to talk about. It seems like that is going to be their choice on their attacking side, even when it comes to this first point right now.
So the Pharmacy combo is in full effect here for Team Nova Monster Shield. They are going to be rolling with the Sombra. That will be controlled by Blue, as already Global Esports, they find themselves just pushed a little bit back here. They're funneling themselves into a choke point. They need to be very, very careful here not to get squished out and choke themselves into basically oblivion. Now the dive comes across. That's Ovo, I believe, on the Winston from Team Nova Monster Shield, just diving in there. Takes a lot of damage, but manages to get away to the safety of Jervis on the Mercy. Jervis doing a fantastic job for being the rookie in this team, it must be said, but not rookie by skill by any stretch of the imagination, given the way that he's been playing tonight. Winston bubble will go down, but one still peppering, controlling the skies here as the Pharah here, getting that damage boost when needed. Blue taking a bit of damage, trying to get some cheeky hacks off, is unable to do so as Ovo gets taken down on Winston. So all of a sudden, the attack is just losing a little bit of steam as the EMP comes across, just reignites the fire a little bit. The barrage into that choke point that I was talking about, Brunj. And all of a sudden, Global Esports just feel the wrath as the ults fly, and Nova Monster Shield are going to take point A.
And even though they lost that Winston a bit too early to my taste, they still played this one out beautifully. They executed this one beautifully because that was the main objective of the composition. Just poke and prod, just make sure you keep the opposing team in a choke as low as possible when it comes to resources. If you looked at Sachak, he was at about 40% tops towards Preserve Shatter, so he's unable to do absolutely nothing other than holding right click. So coming out of Nova MS on that first point, very well executed to make sure they get it. And now we'll see with a few other changes how things will shape up.
So the dive composition is standing ready on the front line here for Nova Monster Shield, but the counter dive comes across now. Lurax has got one of those juicy Graviton Surges. Chooses not to use it as yet because he has a Sombra just trying to be a cheeky pest off the side. Now decides to throw it out. Bubble Kitty takes down Winston, so one tank down. A D-Mech comes across now. Goodbye Diva. One taking a lot of damage, who's now switched off and taken the Sombra out of Blue's hands. Blue a little bit more comfortable on the Brigitte, but Global Esports find themselves 4 quick kills and push Nova Monster Shield back into their spawn.
This is a repeat of potentially what we saw in Rialto, where we had Global Esports really lose that first point relatively easily, but then proceed to absolutely dominate for the rest of the round. So we'll see whether or not that's going to be the case, because they did make a few changes to their composition, and they still have both of their respective support ultimates in the side of Azure and Xeon Flux, whereas on the other side, yeah, you do have the EMP ready, but when Juan is the first one to go down, that is really not going to be looking good for you if you're Nova MS.
Yeah, one got taken down, and then Winston just gets focus fired all the way back into spawn, and Lucio Jervis just luckily gets saves everybody from being staggered out there. But having a look at the ult economy, it's slightly in favor. Well, in fact, it's even, but more so slightly in favor of Global here on defense at the moment. Sachok is about to get that Primal Rage. Bubble Kitty's about to get that rally. That will commit 5 out of the 6 available ults. Just Lil Rex laying a little bit behind there with that Graviton. Now one goes in with the EMP. The Diva Bomb goes out, collects 2. Sachok and Lil Rex get taken down. Kaboom! They lose 2 tanks, and all of a sudden, here come Nova Monster Shield on attack. They've got the door open for them. They had an inch and they are taking a mile here. That EMP Diva Bomb combo was just superb to watch. Very easy on the eyes, Brunch.
And that was so much value off of it. Initially, I thought it didn't really go too well because Juan didn't manage to connect that EMP onto the Zenyatta. And as a result, Xeon Flux was able to bring out the Transcendence. But as you said, that was still looking better for them. They still managed to find those 2 big targets onto Chalk and Low Rex. And now Rally popped on both sides. As these teams are going to be clashing, Transcendence is going to be available for Nova MS though, to make sure they look to secure another teamfight win.
They're going extremely deep here as Nova Monster Shields Winston on the Winston. He blows the Primal Rage, now goes in. Diva Bomb goes high, collects the Zenyatta on the back line, and all of a sudden, 2, make that 3 team members on the side of Nova Monster Shield have found themselves back in spawn. Lil Rax, Xeon Flux, and in fact, everybody on Global combining here. Jervis, have a look at the cheeky stagger that they're getting on him here. That is valuable time. He manages to get away in the end there. Oh no! Oh no, that's tragic. Oh, F's in the chat for Jervis. Sachok with the precision flame strike manages to get the kill. One, meanwhile, has built himself up one of those EMPs. Xeon Flux and Sachok sitting with ults of their own. Brunch, 1.5 minutes to go. Can Global Esports hold off Nova Monster Shield?
Oh, that's the biggest not like this moment right there for Jarvis, but still, considering the fact that they do have the Earth Shatter and Transcendence available, those are extremely valuable tools to make sure, to answer your question, Fox, that they can make it happen, considering it's also only 1 minute and 14 seconds available, but Hack comes through on a big target, so Chuck not being able to use his ultimate. Now even EMP connecting onto 4 targets, at the very least though, Transcendence will be available. Self-destruct, not as much value this time. Earth Shatter gonna find only one, as the rest of the team is gonna search for the defensive team at that, and the kills are still gonna be coming in favor for them.
Yeah, Global Esports on defense just holding firm here. 2 quick kills on the side of Nova, but it's not going to be enough. Quick maths going in the way of Global Esports. There's still 45 seconds left in the time bank. Brunch, 2 ults in the bandolier for Nova Monster Shield. None. They'll probably have a Graviton Surge for the next fight, and maybe, the Diva Bomb as well. That's going to be it, and this is going to be the last roll of the dice here from Nova Monster Shield. They've got one last chance, 1 shot, 1 opportunity. Can they take it? 30 seconds, let's go.
Well, did you have that Transcendence rally to open things up, to start up the fight? As you said, this might just be their last attempt here on the attacking side for Nova MS, as they're gonna be looking for the strongest Graviton. Those finally available for Lil Rex. Self-destruct and Transcendence prompted, but Self-destruct is gonna find 2 targets. Coming out of Xenofly, Bubble Kitty will go down, EMP to follow, and somehow Nova MS turned it around. Free kill Xenofly, almost losing his mech. It's gonna be Xeon Flux instead going down, and in overtime, Nova MS make the impossible happen.
Yeah, Nova MS coming through with the goods. Azure gets booped off the point. 0.16 meters left for the cap. They finally get there and net themselves 1.5 minutes in the time bank. It's not enough, Brunch, but it will do for now. They can afford to breathe at least. Sachok goes down again, rather overconfident. Now he's removed from his line, and it's just going to trickle on and flow down from here. Azure gets everybody back to safety, but that's just room that Sachok unfortunately just cost his team.
And one has been such a thorn on the side of Global Esports. Even though we did see Satchok have that Earthshatter available for such a long time, finally he will be shut down. And 60 seconds means that we will see the rest of the team surge forward. Earthshatter set up here is gonna be enough. 52 seconds though.
Wow.
We have to see Nova MS regroup as soon as possible because they're most likely gonna have only one more attack left.
That was much better positioning. They were playing around there. Reinhardt and Global Esports managed to push Nova all the way back into their spawn. There is still a Sombra being an absolute blowfly, a pest if ever I've seen one, off to the sides for Global Esports. A thorn in their side at the moment. They've got the Transcendence, they've got the rally, there it is. In fact, the counter rally comes across, their EMP comes across, and there's not going to be a sound barrier, but there will be a Transcendence. Somehow Zenyatta managed to avoid that. Bubble Kitty gets taken down. Global Esports are without one member. They're about to be without two as Satchok goes down as well. Here come Nova Monster Shield, Brudge. Lil Rax falls down as well, and they've still got to get it around this right angle. We're going to go into overtime. Global have got one last roll of the dice here on defense. It is a choke point situation. It is in their favor. Ults in the back pocket for them.
It's gonna have to be up to Juan. It's all about whether or not he can find those hacks on the members of Satchok or Lil Rax perhaps, because with those two ultimates available, I really can't see how Nova MS can close the deal right now on their attacking side. Perhaps it's gonna be off of this Graviton. Earthshatter is gonna go wide. It's not really gonna connect. Counter Graviton now finally being launched alongside a self-destruct, and so far it's gonna be the first kill onto Jervis, and with the second one following through, Global Esports might just finally put a stop to Nova MS.
Oh, they did in the end. They push one off the cart, and it's almost a full push, but it's not in the end. I'm starting to get a little bit of deja vu here, Bruins. That cart looking in a very similar position to what it was on Rialto there for Nova Monster Shield, but now it's up to Global. They get to attack, and we know what they can do when they stack a payload.
And it always seems to be the name of the game here for Nova MS is when it's up to those control point situation, they can come up with this DPS focused lineup that can really pull through. But when it comes to these escorts parts of the map included on Hollywood, not only on Rialto, they struggle versus Global Esports. So now that we will be swapping over sides, I really, if you're a Nova MS fan, I think the biggest thing you want to look out for right now is for that 8-point defense. I think if they're gonna win, it's gonna be off of the back of that first point defense full hold, or at the very least having a good time as to push Global Esports into overtime.
Yeah, this is essentially a Pacific Contenders match that we're getting to cast here, Brunge, and I'm liking the innovation once again that we're potentially seeing here from the side of Nova Monster Shield. Blue hovering over that Ashe, one on the Pharah. We've seen him on that hero quite a few times tonight. Jervis onto the Mercy, so that pharmacy combo is a little bit of a wild card, you know? It's like when you're playing Uno and somebody whips out the draw 4. You're just not expecting it, and that's the pharmacy combo that Nova Monster Shield have sort of got here. And Ashe, we saw Ashe be played on Nepal in the first game. Granted, it was one, but we know the devastating effect that can have. Orisa as well. Once again, they're not afraid to shake up the Goats meta, and Lil Rax now on the Widowmaker, and Bubble Kitty on the Hanzo for the side of Global. They switch it up.
Nope. Debated. That was not going to be the case. Just scouting out the opposition for now. Perhaps throwing in a Sonic Arrow and whatnot. But it's going to be a couple of swaps coming through. Again, standard composition more closely to something that the European scene would prefer when it comes to their respective goats. Mixed up with Xeonflux on that Moira. We'll see them now go on to that high ground. Push the Diva away alongside the Orisa. So the rest of Nova MS right now forced into that backside.
Yeah, Moira very, very good in a choke point situation. Comes in clutch when you really need her, as long as you've got the relative charge. As now the dive goes in, the trigger is pulled. Lots of damage being taken in from the frontline tanks, as in fact Anna gets taken down. So without one healer, you're going to struggle. Without two, you're going to have a bad time, and you've got nobody else keeping your DPS and your tanks alive. Blue, Juan, Orisa, and Diva will go down. The point is going to be taken comfortably by Global, and this is the strength that we know them for, Brunge.
Oh man, it was an interesting adaptation, interesting composition coming out of the side of Nova MS. Have to commend them for that, but considering they picked Ashe in that situation alongside the rest of their heroes, I do think they might not want to show their full hand right now. If you look at what they were able to pull off with it, now going on to something that would be expected, such as the Sombra here for Juan. So we'll see them at a big deficit when it comes to the ultimate economy. And considering how much time Global Esports will have to play with, it's going to be a rough time for Nova.
Coalescence committed here from Moira on the side of Global Esports. Zarya taking a lot of damage. Bubble Kitty gets removed, so already a kill advantage going in favor of Nova Monster Shield. Remember, they are on defense. Lil Rax gets taken down as well, so that's 2 down. About to lose a third. Winston gets made into puree up against the wall there. And Nova Monster Shield holding firm here on defense for now, but still a lot of time for Global to play with. They've won the battle, but not the war just yet.
But that was such a good fight for them. It
Positioning.
allowed not only a positional advantage, but also look at the ult charge. But as you said, coming in from the backside on the hunt, Nova MS looking for the targets, but it's too far too late. In the meantime, we see Global Esports just absolutely dominate here on Hollywood. Good cheeky attempt, but still.
That's embarrassing.
Yeah.
A little bit, it must be said.
Yeah.
Look, the idea was there. It's like communism. In theory, it works, but when put into practice, it just didn't. It just doesn't go down very well. And have a look at the sheer meterage that Global Esports are able to get on this payload. Now the Reinhardt's all up in each other's faces. The hack will come across here, collects Bubble Kitty. They have the rally rather though on blue. Expect to see a counter rally very, very soon. Once Bubble Kitty has it up, that is. He's only on 20%, so he did actually only just get onto that one. Reinhardt has got the shatter, just holding onto that one for now, trying to chunk down Satchok's shield before he invests that one in. And with only a few meters before this second capture point here, Bruins, we haven't really seen much going on. There we go, the EMP goes in on the back line. Rather poor in the end, only collecting 1 or 2. Bubble Kitty gets the kill onto the opposing Brigitte in blue. 3 quick kills on the side of Nova Monster Shield though. Is that going to be enough? The grab goes in, transcended sound barrier. I think I see a kitchen sink in there as well, Bruins. There's just so much going on this point at the moment. Bubble Kitty still alive, finally had that rally that we were talking about just before getting taken down. And Nova Monster Shield are going to get the good staggers on here. Exactly what we saw happen to them in the previous round, Runch.
But that was overall not too bad for Global Esports, considering they managed to pull pretty much all of their respective ultimates out of Nova, where they managed to keep their Earth Shatter alongside Transcendence. They're also going to have the Self-Destruct going into the next fight. Perhaps they're going to look to set that one up with the use of that Earth Shatter. Not quite sure, but it's, again, mostly about the Sombra, mostly about Juan, who managed to charge up another EMP going into this next team fight.
Shatter goes across as the EMP. There we go. That's the synergy we were talking about. They lose one. Do both of these teams rather. One support down a piece, but Satchok gets removed as well, and all of a sudden Nova Monster Shield are sitting very, very pretty in this fight, but still, just under 2 minutes left to go. There's a lot of time for Global to play with, but you know, Overwatch is a mental... It's all about that momentum and your mental state. If you're getting smacked around like Global Esports are doing here, it does not bode well for you, and all of a sudden the more fights you lose, the harder it becomes to claw your way back up the mountain.
Especially since you also allow Nova right now to build up towards another potential advantage. Just look at Juan, seemingly almost having an EMP available for every team fight right now. It bought enough time for Graviton to be up and running, as well as the sound barrier soon enough, but the rally will be prompted. Beautiful charge onto Xeon Flux, 2 members already down, and this is so bad for Global Esports. Such a big target to find with that charge too, onto that Zenyatta who had Transcendence available.
Yeah, the ult's looking very, very good here at the moment for the side of Nova Monster Shield. They have got nearly 4 built up. Warn about to build up the EMP very, very shortly. There's now 4 available. Oh, the Graviton Surge committed! I don't know about that one. They really wanted that Sombra there, Brunj. One will go down, but it cost a grab. And maybe, just maybe, they want the man advantage coming into this point. They didn't want that translocator to go across, and all of a sudden Nova Monster Shield have to do this with 5 men, but they get Xeon Flux. It's even Stevens here. The ping comes across. Bubble Kitty goes down. So does Blue, because Satchok was on point there. Shatter now comes across. Will collect 2 on the side of Nova Monster Shield. Jervis laying flat on his back like a turtle with no way up. Finally manages to recuperate himself. Xenofly will now get DMEC, but this cart's still slightly being pushed. But Nova Monster Shield are just going to be so cheeky and just let Xenofly wallow in baby diva form before finally ending her life. 10 seconds left on the clock, and that stagger just may win them the game.
Oh, and that wraparound with the support backline coming in onto that point was what won them that fight. Now EMP finally going through. We'll see Self-Destruct not available right now, as we will still see 2 for 1 in terms of kills. We'll see whether or not they can still come back into this one. Nova mess that is, as it will go forth, pick up another kill. It's all about this Reinhardt, but Azura retaliation coming through with a double kill of his own.
They're still in this fight. Azura on the support, shining. Xeno5 finally rejoins the fray, but gets taken down. Jarvis, he wants a piece of the action as well. It's the Lucio show here on Hollywood, ladies and gentlemen. Now Xenofly tries to fly away, but will get demeked. In comes Hammond, and all of a sudden, Brunj, Nova Monster Shield, Force Global off the cut. That is game, set, and match to Nova. Unfortunately, Global in this best of 3, they're unsuccessful, but Brunj, that's one series that I am always going to remember. And don't forget, if you like that, not only check out the VODs, this is a Contenders Pacific match. These two teams are going to be going head-to-head in 5 days' time, Brunj. Already, I am setting my alarm for that.
I mean, you can't miss it out. It's been such a close one as well. And it just goes to show both of these teams' strengths when it comes to their respective maps that they won. And Hollywood, even though